You wake up one morning, and nothing looks different. Same job, same city, same routine, but something feels off. Your salary came in, just like every month, and still, it feels smaller. Not on paper, not in numbers, but in reality. You notice it at the grocery store, at the fuel pump, even when you order the same meal, and it somehow costs more. You don't panic. Not yet. But you start asking a quiet question. Why does money feel weaker? Here's the uncomfortable part. Your money isn't disappearing. It's being diluted, slowly, quietly, every single year. To understand this, you don't start with prices, you start with value. What money can actually do, what it can buy, what it can protect, what it can build. Because money is not just numbers, it's purchasing power. Now imagine this 10 years ago. You walk into a store with $100. You walk out with a full basket. Today, same store, same $100. Half the basket is gone. Nothing about the number changed, but everything about the value did. That gap between what money says it is and what it actually does. That's where the problem lives. We call it inflation, but that word feels soft, almost harmless, like a natural process, like something that just happens. But inflation is not just rising prices. It's a system, a slow shift, a silent transfer. Let's break it down, very simply. Imagine money as water. Now imagine the system keeps adding more water into the same container. What happens? Each drop becomes less meaningful, less powerful. That's exactly what happens when more money is created. The total amount increases, but the real value spreads thinner. And here's where it gets interesting, because most people don't see this happening. They just see higher prices. They think things are getting expensive. But the deeper truth is, money is getting cheaper, and that changes how you think about everything. Now let's step back, because this didn't start yesterday. This has been happening for decades. Look at the timeline. 1970s, inflation spikes. 1980s, controlled, but still there. 2000, steady rise. After 2008, something shifts, and after 2020, it accelerates. More money enters the system, faster than before, on a scale most people never really notice. And this creates a strange effect. On the surface, everything looks normal. Jobs exist, markets move, money flows. But underneath, the value is shifting. Let's make this real. You save money. You do the right thing. You don't spend it. You keep it safe. But over time, that money buys less. So even though you didn't lose anything physically, you lost something quietly. This is the uncomfortable math. If inflation averages around 3% a year, in 10 years, your money loses roughly a quarter of its power. In 20 years, almost half. And this happens without any warning, no alert, no message, just slow erosion. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because not everything rises equally. Some prices rise faster. Housing, education, healthcare. Others move slower. Wages often lag behind. So the gap grows between what you earn and what things cost. And that gap is where the pressure builds. This is why people feel stuck, even when they're earning more, even when they're working harder, because the system is moving underneath them. Now let's talk about something people don't like to admit. Cash feels safe. It's simple. It's stable. You can see it. But in an inflation system, cash is slowly losing power every year. And the irony is, the safer it feels, the more it quietly weakens. Now compare that to assets, things like real estate, stocks, businesses. These don't just sit still. They adjust. They move with inflation, sometimes even faster. So while cash loses value, assets often absorb that change, and this creates a divide. People holding cash and people holding assets. One group feels the squeeze, the other often benefits. This is not random, it's structural. Now here's the part that feels almost unfair. The system rewards movement, not stillness. If your money sits, it shrinks. If it moves, it has a chance to grow. But moving money requires knowledge, confidence, and sometimes risk. And that's where most people hesitate, because no one wants to lose money. So they stay still, and slowly they fall behind. Now let's zoom out, because this is bigger than just personal finance. This affects entire societies. Savings become harder. Planning becomes uncertain. The future feels less predictable. And when people feel that, they change behavior. They spend faster. They invest differently. They think shorter term, because holding money no longer feels safe. And this creates a loop. More spending drives more demand, which pushes prices higher, which increases inflation, which reduces value, which causes more spending. And the cycle continues. Now here's the strange part. Most people know something is wrong. They feel it, but they don't fully understand why. So they blame what they can see. Stores, companies, prices, but the deeper mechanism remains hidden.